Hi, welcome to our Tarot. So today I'm gonna do the 2024 U.S. General Homeowners Monthly Predictions. In this reading, I will use three tarot decks to um, to explain, first of all, the feelings of the homeowners towards the interest rates, and then I'll use another deck to explain the financial impact of keeping the property. And I'll use the third deck to explain the financial impact of selling the property. So please also keep in mind that this is a general read, and it is the general perception of the majority of the homeowners, how they see these three things: the interest rate, the impact of keeping it, the impact of selling it. It doesn't apply to every single one of them. And also, this is in general. So every state, I believe that they have unique situations. It depends on my availability. I might do individual states, but I might not. So I have to consider that later. And also, because every homeowner has their unique circumstances, so please always keep that in mind. This is only for the general atmosphere for the majority homeowners. Okay, without further ado, I'll start with January 2024. How the general U.S. homeowners feel about the interest rates. And then how the majority of the U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of selling the property in January 2024. Then I would like to ask how the majority of the U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of selling the properties in January 2024. So I will talk about both the both the card that I picked and also the bottom card. Okay, so for the feelings towards the interest rates. So in January, the homeowners, they have the Ace of Pentacles as the feelings, and the bottom card is Page of Cups. So Ace of Pentacles is about the beginning of financial abundance, and the Page of Cups is about some kind of good news. And so I think if previously they had some struggles about the about the interest rates in January, they will feel like there is some sort of relief. And then for the financial impact of keeping the property, there's a Sun card, and the bottom is Two of Pentacles. So basically, keeping the property, they in generally they feel like it is a blessing, because the Sun card usually they represent blessings, also clarity. So they gain the clarity about how much money they will get in keeping the property. So they have pretty good, they feel pretty good about it. At least many of them, they feel like they know what to do. The bottom card is Two of Pentacles. So that means, Two of Pentacles, you see this person is trying to balance the two coins. And as you see, behind this person, there is the sea and the wave. The sea is not very stable. And you see the ships, they are just flowing on the sea. And the sea level is not flat. So I believe that there are some things that the homeowners who are keeping the properties, they still have to tackle about balancing the budget. So the situation is not very stable, but they found a way to balance it. But they might be quite busy in balancing the situation though. I feel like I want a clarifier for the Two of Pentacles. Why the Two of Pentacles? Okay, Chariot, Two of Cups. So Chariot is about gaining victory, but it's also about making a very careful decision in order to gain the victory. Two of Cups is about collaboration. I think they have some choices that they need to make. So I want to know if they need to make the choices for this group of people who are keeping the properties. What kind of choice they need to make? Okay, so they have to, the Eight of Wands is very quick, fast development. Eight of Pentacles is about, kind of working. It is a working card, and also refurnishing, and also remodeling, repair. So I feel like some of the people, they're gonna try to quickly repair the house, but why? why they want to repair the house. Okay. So, Ten of Cups, Page of Cups, it is about good news about home and family abundance. So I think for some of them, they really want to repair the houses because they find the reasons to do it. They might have more money to do it, but before that they didn't have that money to do it. And I believe that this month they feel like they have the need to repair, and they are willing to do it. And because of the Cups cards, I think they are emotionally driven to do so. Is it really about very practical reasons? Can be, because Ten of Cups is about family. Maybe for family reasons, people want to remodel their homes more than before, and especially for those who have kids, and they feel like it is a time to really do something about the house in regards to kids and how they live in the house, something like that. But in general, I think it is just a very busy time for homeowners in regards to repair. I mean, for the group that is gonna keep the house, and the property. But there is also a possibility for some people, they feel like they have to catch the window to repair it so they can sell it quickly. So for the group that is considering the financial impact of selling, Ace of Wands means new beginnings and the removal of obstacles. So I think there are definitely people who want to sell because they don't want to suffer anymore. Yeah. And the bottom card is Six of Wands. So they really want to gain the victory. And both cards, they are wands. So that means they are very passionate in selling. Because they believe that there will be profits that can eliminate the obstacles that they had before. So in general, I think in January, this is a pretty good month for the housing market. But however, because the Sun card is a major arcana, so I would consider the majority of the homeowners, they are leaning towards keeping their properties. Okay, so I feel like I also want to pick one Mary Queen of Angels card to assist all the viewers for each month. How can the viewers gain prosperity and safety and stability, and also happiness in regards to property matters, housing for January 2024. What are your guidance? What are your guidance? Okay, family. So this card, it says, I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. And the bottom card is love. Love is the answer to all of my questions. So, because I believe that these two cards are actually referring to the majority of the people who are intending to keep the property, because previously in the tarot cards they actually gave us the Ten of Cups and also Two of Cups, as I can remember. So love can really align with the Two of Cups energy, and family is definitely Ten of Cups. So I think in this month, homeowners, they have the ability to actually consider a lot about family matters. Among family members, they will also talk about properties, and I think some of the families, they will actually collaborate with each other in order to solve some problems or situations. Because as you can see, for the family card, they say, I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. So definitely there are some situations that are not perfect, and some things need to be resolved. And some people, they will seek help from family members. They might seek for collaboration, or they're gonna need advice from family members who had experiences or experienced these sort of situation and fluctuation. So I think family members, family values can be very prominent in this month, and they can be a big support for some of the homeowners. Okay. In February, I would like to know 2024 February. How are the U.S. homeowners feel about the interest rates? How they feel about interest rates? And I would like to know about, in February 2024, how U.S. homeowners, how they think about the impact of financial impact of keeping the properties. And I also want to know in February 2024 how the general U.S. homeowners will feel about the financial impact of selling the property. Okay, so in February, Seven of Wands pair with Queen of Cups, which means Seven of Wands means sometimes they mean opposition and going against something, and they have to defend a situation. So and Queen of Cups is emotional energy, and it's not very stable. It's emotional, and people feel emotional about it. So I think in February, people need to be considering the fluctuation of interest rates, and there might be situations that they think it is not what they want, and they sort of feel like they have to fight against something to to protect themselves. In February, in regards to keeping the property, the financial prospect, it is being represented by the High Priestess and the Eight of Swords. So the High Priestess represents that the homeowners who are keeping the properties, they have to trust their guts, their intuition, and their wisdom to move forward in this situation. But there are definitely limitations and interferences. So, and also Eight of Swords is also about fear and limiting beliefs. So I feel like people might not want to do a lot of they at least I don't feel like they want to repair their homes as like they did in January, because there are fear, there's limitation, and for the High Priestess, you see this card. There's a cloth that is covering the behind, so actually people don't feel like they have all the facts in February in regards keeping their properties, so they feel fear. So the prospect of selling, financial prospect of selling in February, homeowners, they would see it as Two of Pentacles, like they need to balance things out, and so I think some homeowners, they might even list their properties while they are still living in it, because they feel like there is a need to do so. Five of Wands means conflicts, so they have to tackle a situation where there are conflicts, but they still need to balance things out. So I think because in January, I already see the situation in regards to Two of Pentacles, but it was previously in the keeping position, but now it is moving towards the selling position. So I believe that definitely in January, there will be a group of homeowners who are preparing quite quickly to sell the properties. Not every single one of them, but there are definitely some of them they are planning to sell in February. But in February, the financial prospect of selling it is kind of conflicting. It's not entirely auspicious. Even though some people they will try to move money from A to B by selling the property, but they feel conflict about it. Please clarify what's the Five of Wands about. Okay, the Five of Wands is about the Fool energy and the Knight of Cups energy, which means the Fool is new beginnings, but at the same time it can mean unknown, is a wild card. And Knight of Cups means it is an emotional energy, and usually they represent some kind of a process of pursuing some kind of emotional fulfillment, emotional happiness. So I think some people they just want to sell their houses because they feel like, oh, we want to get out of this situation. But there's the unknown factor of how much they're gonna gain. And I think because of the Five of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, I think the impact of the financial impact of selling the properties in February is not very clear, but at least there are some things that the homeowners might feel like, oh, even though they want to sell it, but it might not be perfect because the market has conflicts. So, and I believe that because the interest rates has some issues going on. So, you know, in this situation, if people need to sell, they must be selling it for some very specific reasons that force them to sell. So in this case, they would profit less than what they want, right? So I do believe that because the High Priestess is the major arcana, so I would say people are more inclined to intend to keep the properties. There are more people leaning towards keeping the properties, even though the Ace of Swords energy. So, actually, I would like to know what about the Eight of Swords energy? What about it? Okay. So the Devil and the Emperor. So I think the Emperor is about people from the authority, can be the president, and Devil is about limitations. I think it's about the limitation of presidential election. Like they don't know what's going to happen next, because if the president is going to be changed, then the housing policy might change, and everything will be up in the air. So there's a limitation of not knowing who's going to be the next president. So this actually plays into the thoughts and the mind of the people who are owning homes currently. So they really want to know who's going to be the next president, and what will they do about the housing situation and the housing market. And at the same time, I would like to point out that because previously in my president election reading, I pulled the devil for some of the candidates, or maybe at least one, who is Donald Trump. So in this case, I would say maybe it is not a bad thing to consider some of the things that he might be expressing and saying in February, because they might be related to the housing market and housing situation. But at the same time, it can also mean some of the problems about the presidential candidates. They might have some limitations in regards to their campaign and something about that nature, which is not a good nature, and it sort of plays into and affect the housing market somehow. So I'd like to put a card, the Mary Queen of Angels cards, for the guidance for homeowners to be prosperous and successful in regards to property matters in February. What will be the recommendation? Okay, faith. Jesus. Okay. I'm just saying. This card is Jesus. Okay, so faith. It says, I have faith in God to heal this situation. So definitely there is a situation that needs healing. And people feel like they need to have, well, actually people need to have the faith to wait and to figure it out. And some people, I think they're gonna think about the teachings of Jesus. I pray for Jesus' help and guidance with this situation. So definitely there's a situation where people need to pull their power and use their faith to overcome the situation. Yeah. So if people keep their faith, are they gonna be all right? Okay. Quiet and joy. So if people have faith in this period of time in February, if they go into peaceful silence and they listen, I do believe that they're gonna be okay if they have the faith. But when joy is paired with quiet, that means like afterwards, even though there might be some good news, people will tend to be quiet about the good news, because I think they gained the wisdom about it. Like they don't want to see things in the face value on the surface. And I think that they actually they might find out some of the truths about the housing market situation, because in the process of being faithful, it is not an easy process, and I believe that in this process people will actually analyze a lot of things that are happening in the market, and they will have a new perspective towards good news. So from February onwards, even if there are good news, because of the struggles that they need to go through in February, they will treat the good news afterwards with a very guarded way and guarded mentality. Like even though if there's good news, we still need to be careful and not to, just be quiet about it. And I do believe that in February, there can be a person in the administrative position who's gonna say something or do something about the housing market, and homeowners need to pay attention to. I just want to know, is this High Priestess a current official of the current administration, or a presidential candidate, or something else? Yeah, I do believe that the current administration, in February, they might share some new ideas about the housing market. Presidential candidates, they would like to bring some good news about the housing market. Like at least they would like to say something, do something about it, to make a point out of it. Clarify what's the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is about Six of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. I think the Three of Cups is about something foreign and can be foreign owners of US property matters, because there are many properties that are owned by companies and people from overseas. And I feel like these three cards, they actually represent, they are all involved in the high priestess energy. Like the current government policy, plus the presidential election, plus property from foreign owners. So all of them, they kind of melt into a big pot of uncertainties for the housing market. Okay, so March. I'd like to know March 2024 will be the US homeowners' feelings towards interest rates. And what will be the US homeowners' financial impact of keeping the property in March 2024. And I would like to know, for the U.S. homeowners, the financial impact of selling the property in March 2024. Okay, so in March 2024, the homeowners, they feel like there are some blockages being removed in regards to interest rates. There's the sun card underneath, so which means at least for the interest rate thing, the fluctuation and opposition in February, they are being cleared up. Maybe not all of them, but at least there is a major relief. For the financial impact of keeping the properties, there's the Fool card. Fool card is ruled by the planet Uranus, which is unpredictability. And the bottom is the Tower. Tower is about revolution, is about disruption. So people feel like keeping the properties will actually bring them into an unknown territory financially, and probably disruptions also. So they don't feel very positive about keeping the properties. So the impact of selling, the financial impact of selling in March 2024, the Moon card is about subconscious. It is about the uncertainty, the unknown. And the bottom is Three of Swords. So the Moon card is also aligned with the Cancerian energy, which is ruled by the moon, and moon is not a stable energy. There are uncertainties. People act with their subconscious and with their emotions, and Three of Swords is about sorrow and people not feeling happy about it. So I think both keeping the properties and selling the properties, the financial prospects for both can be kind of negative and unpredictable. But I would say people are more likely to I would say keeping. However, even if they want to keep it, I believe that there are many of the people they need to refinance or they have to redo the mortgage. So they have to break down something in order to keep it. Because both cards are major arcana. But there are definitely people who actually need to really destroy their plan, because there is a need to do so for them. And even though they know that selling the property, the price will make them feel sad, but some people, they're gonna do it. Because talking about Tower and the Fool card, how many of the homeowners can actually accept and embrace the possible shocks? So I think many of them, they will be selling. If they don't sell it, they're gonna have to rearrange the whole thing of how they have been keeping their properties. So now I would like to pull the Mary Queen of Angels cards. How can U.S. homeowners to stay safe and be prosperous and happy in March 2024? Optimism, inner child. So this card says, I expect good things to happen, and they do. So this card reminds us that we need to expect the good things. So even though there are situations that might feel pretty unpredictable, kind of groundbreaking, but this card is urging us to look to the bright side of things, even though some old structures, they are being torn down, but it can be a good thing. But if we look at it as a very pessimistic way, it will turn out to be pessimistic. So there's a need to consider the positive impact of the situation and not just be guided by fear. Inner child in the bottom, they say, I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self-care. So I think some people, they will there might be possibilities for them to use very creative ways to actually cope with the situation. But remember, even though inner child is about creativity, you can see these children, they work with each other, and they are wearing the same clothing. So I believe that people who are well prepared, maybe some of them, they regularly chat with each other to talk about the housing market. So these people are the people who can find creative ways to actually cope with the situation and actually gain from the situation. But because you see, they are doing all the work, they are doing all the analysis. You see what they are reading over here? It's a pretty long document. So there are people who are well prepared, and they are creative and optimistic about the situation because they have the knowledge, they did the study, and they can find ways to be optimistic about the situation, while many of the others who don't regularly check on the market, they will feel like, oh my God, it's a big deal. Are we gonna sell because of this and that? Some people, they are well prepared, and they share their thoughts with each other, similar-minded people. So try to be the group who is creative but analytical, and try not to be the pessimistic group. So this is the message from the angel cards. Okay, so now we'll talk about the April 2024. What are the majority U.S. homeowners' feelings towards interest rates in April 2024? And what are the U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of keeping the properties in April 2024? And what are the majority of U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of selling the properties in April 2024? Okay, so their feelings towards interest rates in April 2024, it is the wheel of fortune, means change. So people who struggled before because of the interest rate issues, some of them they will get better, but some people who were not affected by the interest rates issue before, it might go the other way for them, because the wheel of fortune, they often they can always represent the bad turning into good and the good turning into bad. It depends from situation to situation, but definitely a major change. Page of Cups means when it's paired with Wheel of Fortune, I would say I would lean towards some good news, some good change. So I feel like it's a positive thing more than a negative thing. So for the financial impact of keeping the properties, we got two major arcana cards. So I would say in April, people are more leaning towards keeping the property, and Hermit means introspection. Sun card means clarity. So I would say usually the Sun card means something very good. Yeah, something very good. But the Hermit, because the Hermit is represented by, is representing being introspective and also being very wise about the situation. So I think people are starting to see the good side of keeping the properties because they gain the clarity about some information. Something is looking up, definitely. But introspection is also about considering all the options based on the information that they have and the lessons they learned. So at least I believe that many of the homeowners, they will gain the clarity in April 2024 about the financial impact of keeping the property. But the Hermit is also about seeking. So they might seek for, they will investigate a lot of ways to find out if it is worth to keep the property. They are leaning towards to keep it, but they are finding ways to maximize the profit. And some of them, they are being introspective because of the clarity that actually leads them to introspection. Like they will ask themselves, do I want to keep it? Do I want to sell it? I don't think I think there are good reasons to keep, and there are bad reasons to keep also. So, but I think many of the homeowners will actually have to at least have the clarity to to think to think in wise ways. So in April 2024, the financial impact of selling the property is King of Swords and Queen of Swords. So it will be very logical. I think people who gonna sell in this month, or they think about selling it, is about practical concerns. Because the swords cards means being logical. Like it's logical for them to sell, then they're gonna sell it. But the price is not gonna be either very good or either very bad, because it's logical. And I do believe that people are leaning towards keeping rather than selling in April. So I would like to pull the angel card. Please let us know in what way can the U.S. homeowners in April 2024 will stay prosperous and be successful. What will be your guidance for April 2024 for U.S. homeowners? Okay, caring, God. Okay, caring. This card says, heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. So, which means homeowners need to take care of not only themselves, but the others around them, and also the world. So I would say there are worldly events that are happening in April that the homeowners actually need to take care of, because those world events and the events that happened in our surrounding situation actually plays into affecting the housing market in a major way, in major ways. So so I think the message is about, don't focus on just ourselves in April. We need to look beyond ourselves. Really, people who watch local news, this month is better to also cover the world news, because they will have impacts on the housing market in the US. The bottom card is God. It says, I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me in this situation. This card means there are situations that are out of the control of homeowners. So they actually have to seek for higher power to overcome the uncertainties and the lack of control, the feeling of lacking in the control. So obviously in April, there are something major happening on a world stage that the homeowners feel like they really need to be faithful, or at least let go of the sense to need to control. So yeah, and by the way, even though the cards, they say God or whatever, I'm not referring to any particular deities. I I think they can be good for depicting the situation. So I don't put religious preferences in describing, I mean, explaining the information. I just want to clarify this. Okay, now we head to May. Okay, we would like to know for U.S. homeowners 2024 May how they will feel about the interest rates. And in 2024 May, how U.S. homeowners will perceive the financial impact of keeping the properties. And in May 2024, how U.S. homeowners perceive the financial impact of selling the properties. Okay, so the feelings towards interest rates is the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands means creativity and also the energy of protection. I think homeowners will think about creative ways to actually protect themselves in regards to the interest rate situation. And the bottom card is Chariot. They need to make decisions, careful decisions, because of the interest rate situation. We can also think about car interest. And I believe that some people they might consider making adjustments about the car payments, or there is a correlation between car interest rates and the general interest rates overall. Chariot is can also be because of wall. So I need some clarification. What about the Chariot? Four of Wands, Eight of Swords, Eight of Cups. Okay, so I got it. So Chariot can mean, because Four of Wands it means housing. Eight of Cups means leaving something behind. I think there are people who are actually wanting to leave their home, like they don't want it anymore. So if it is about the Chariot, so I think because of the interest rate, people will think very carefully about letting go of their houses. So for financial impact of keeping it, in May is about the devil. Devil means the limitations, and is problems. It can also mean addiction. something keeps coming up. Knight of Swords at the bottom means that it can be toxic cycle that needs to be quickly dealt with. So, I have a feeling that people are not very optimistic about keeping the properties because the financial prospect can actually lead to another toxic cycle, which needs a lot of attention to cut through the obstacles to maintain or to get the profit. But on the other hand, the star card is at the financial impact of selling. So, which means people want to sell because they feel like selling it can bring a renewal to their financial situation. And Eight of Pentacles at the bottom means people feel like they can sell it and in order to work on something else. Like they can switch their focus to something more meaningful. So I think there are people who are fed up with the housing market. They're gonna want to sell, and I think the financial prospect of selling the properties in May is actually quite hopeful for many of the homeowners. But for those who want to keep it, they feel like it's restrictive and just kind of making them, putting them into prison, like not having the freedom. And some people, they definitely want the freedom, so they're gonna sell. Okay, now I'm gonna put the angels cards. Please tell us, how can you as homeowners be prosperous and be safe in May 2024? Be strong, compassion. So be strong, this card is about I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. So definitely there are difficult situations, but there's a need to make decisions and be strong about it. Like you like some people, they have to be strong about making the decisions, even though it can be very difficult. Because it is necessary. The bottom card is compassion. It says, I see and feel others' point of view with forgiveness and kindness. So I think these two cards are actually urging the homeowners to, when they are dealing with properties matters, the advice is to not just focus on the emotional side of the feelings, of whatever positive feelings or negative feelings that you might have, but be very strategically sophisticated in dealing with the matter. Make the decisions based on what is necessary to do so. But at the same time, being compassionate. Because for homeowners, some homeowners, maybe you're renting out places, and let's say people are having a hard time paying rent, or maybe they don't have all the criterias as a desirable tenant. But because of certain situation, the homeowners need to be flexible about it and be compassionate, because I believe that there are situations where some people are really in difficult place to get a place to live, but at the same time, homeowners can also have difficulties, so that's why they have to rent the place out. And it's not easy to rent out a place. People moving into the place, sometimes they cause problems, and the sense of security is threatened. All this kind of stuff is difficult situation and decision. But some people, they will think they need to rent it out no matter what because it is necessary. And if so, first of all, be compassionate to yourself. Even though you might not want to rent out your lovely space, be compassionate towards yourself, and be sure that you are doing it because of necessity, and also because it is logical to do so. And also be compassionate. How to be compassionate? If you can, maybe you can try to remember in those days that you didn't have enough credit to find a place to live, but you ended up able to rent a place, probably because someone being compassionate to you before. I'm not saying this for every single one of you, just for some. I'm just making it up as an example. And if you can recall the days when you were dealing with housing situations, if you received some sort of compassionate gestures before, in these days, in this month, they might be very helpful in your situation too. So I feel like the energy is about, in this month, is about very logically oriented ways to actually deal with the housing market situation. But at the same time, there is a strong connection between people and within communities. So I think there are a lot of people who need help. People who want to sell the house, please be compassionate about the agents who are helping you to sell, and also the buyers who want to buy your house but unable to pay your desirable amount. And be compassionate to this situation. And also, like tenants, renters, those situations. But at first, the cards are advising you to be strong and to be compassionate about yourself, your own situation. Be peaceful, or try to find a peace in regards to the difficult situation. And then also try to be compassionate about the people who you are dealing with in regards to your housing strategy in this month. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going too far, but you get the gist. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about June 2024. How you as homeowners feels towards the interest rates, how they feel towards the interest rates in June 2024. And how they feel the financial impact of keeping the property in June 2024. How they feel about the financial impact of selling the property in June 2024. Okay, so June 2024, Four of Pentacles. I think the U.S. homeowners, they can find the stability about the interest rates, but at the same time, Four of Pentacles, as you can see this person having the coin that is in front of the heart. So they are very guarded in regards to all matters related to properties and finances. And I think the interest rates somehow made them very money oriented. Nine of Wands is about a wounded person. So I think because of previous months, there were instabilities, and some people feel like they're really hurt by the process and the interest rates. So they become kind of closed up and also very guarded about the situation because they're kind of being wounded. And it's very, very interesting that in the financial impact of keeping the property, there is the Nine of Wands actually. They're the same cards, but so which actually means the interest rates are leading homeowners to be very guarded, very guarded. In keeping the property. So I think it is relatively prominent to me that there is a correlation between the interest rates and keeping the properties. I think there are many people who are trying their best to keep the properties, but they feel like they're being wounded by the interest rates. And Eight of Wands at the bottom means they might make a lot of quick decisions because they are very guarded and they are wounded because of the interest rates. And the financial impact of keeping the properties is being wounded, and but at the same time need to deal with a lot of quick developments. So I would say the financial impact is one side is about safeguarding what they already have. It's about safety. But there is also the type of energy that actually can lead to a lot of different directions, and they are very quick and fast. Well, actually not a lot of different directions, but probably just one direction, and there are multiple areas of life that are going towards one direction. The financial impact of keeping the property in June is, I think, it's kind of hurting, because the Nine of Wands it means hurt, and the interest rate is hurting the people who gonna keep the houses, the properties. So for the financial impact of selling in June 2024, Five of Wands, there are conflicts. The bottom is Hermit. So which means there are conflicts about the pricing of selling the properties, but people will make wise decisions. And people who make wise decisions, they do not simply make decisions based on the monetary value. They would consider every aspect of selling the properties and multiple areas of life that can be impacted by selling the properties, both good and bad ways, not just in monetary ways. But monetarily, the price of selling might not be desirable, but some people, they definitely gonna still sell it because they are very wise and they see the value in doing it. So even though they might lose some money, they would still sell it. So June 2024, what will be the angels' guidance for US homeowners to be safe, to be prosperous? Okay, so the God card comes out again. So I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me and the situation, which means there are factors that are actually out of the control of the homeowner's hands. So be aware of that. Gratitude at the bottom. It says, as I notice and appreciate my blessings, I open the door to more of God's gifts. So, and this God card. So I believe that there are situations where the homeowners feel like, oh, they are out of control, and they don't have they would judge themselves by being not able to control the situation, or maybe there are things that are not within their control. But if you're grateful and you embrace the situation with gratitude, you can find ways to appreciate what the obstacles can actually bring you in positive ways. Because you see this person is holding a newborn baby. So I believe that there are people who need to make housing management. It is very likely that if they make the decision in June, they will make it because out of necessity and something that they cannot control. They might have a sense of feeling the need to surrender to the situation, but as a return, if they surrender it, they can actually find something very new to their situation, like this newborn, which is very refreshing and also a lot of possibilities. So I think some people, they're definitely gonna be liberated by, letting go of the properties or making certain arrangements, quick arrangements in June. And these decisions will bring a brand new page to the life of these homeowners. And the key is to be able to appreciate the change and to see the process as giving you something new that you can nourish and can build upon. I think there are people definitely letting go of properties and some stability related concerns. July 2024. How the U.S. homeowners feel towards the interest rate situation. July 2024, how U.S. homeowners, how they perceive the financial impact of keeping the properties. July 2024, how U.S. homeowners perceive the financial impact of selling the properties. Okay. In July 2024, homeowners feel like there is a new beginning of the interest rates matter. But the new beginning comes with the fool. It means there is unpredictability, but a brand new beginning. So the interest rate thing, I think some of the obstacles are being removed because of the new beginnings. But at the same time, there is unknown. Even though there's new beginning, people don't feel totally safe about the situation. So for the financial impact of keeping the property, Five of Pentacles, poverty, Six of Pentacles at the bottom, it means charity and financial assistance. So people will feel like, the homeowners, they feel like to keep the property might lead to financial poverty, and eventually they will need the assistance to overcome it. So the financial impact of selling in July, homeowners will feel like it is a disruption. It is a clearing, completely torn down of the old structure. Six of Cups at the bottom means being helpful. Probably also emotionally nostalgic. So I do believe that people are leaning towards selling the properties because the breakdown of the situation can lead to some help. I mean, the help for the situation. But if people are selling them in this July situation, can be because of some unpredictable events represented by the Tower. So I think there are situations where they need to sell because of unpredictable events, and then they need help, so they sell it. Please clarify what's about the Tower. Worry of Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Like people would worry about how housing market can actually create wealth in the future. So I believe that there are situations which create instabilities in the housing market where people start to question the value of the housing market and how housing can actually create wealth. So I don't think in July people have a lot of I don't think they have the confidence in the housing market. Let us put it that way. For the angel cards, please tell us in July 2024, how can the U.S. homeowners be safe and prosperous in regards to housing market matters? Okay. Joy. By enjoying this moment, I'm giving thanks to God for my life. So there's definitely happiness. And you see there are a lot of people involved. If there are decisions being made in July, they can be a joyful thing to do if it is about a lot of people who are involved in the decision-making process. And there's a need to work with each other, but not just ourselves. In order to be in an orchestra with the others, like in this photo, this picture, we need to be considerate towards not only ourselves, but everyone who is involved in making the decisions. So being harmonious with the people who we deal with, it is necessary, especially for the love card at the bottom. It says love is the answer to all of my questions. Different people have different standard about love. But love is about passion. Love can be about relationships between people, relationships between the things you love, you feel happy about. And I believe that for some people there is a need to make housing decisions based on what they truly feel passionate about. Maybe some people they have a house, they own a house, but if the house is not giving them happiness, they would think about letting it go because they want true happiness, and keeping it is not the way that will lead to happiness, then they will let it go. Maybe they will keep the house because the house gives them the passion of life. So follow the love and the passion in your life in July, then this will bring you the positive result. But there's a need to truly align your sense of happiness with your personal experiences, how you came through life all these years, like what actually made you feel very happy. There's a need to dive into those questions in order to make the decisions that will either sustain your happiness or regain your sense of happiness. Okay. August 2024. How you as homeowners feel towards the interest rates. August 2024. August 2024. How you as homeowners, how they feel the impact of the financial impact of keeping the property. In August 2024, how you as homeowners feel about the impact of selling, the financial impact of selling the property. Okay. August 2024, U.S. homeowners, they will feel sad about the interest rates. The bottom is Page of Wands. It means job situation. Either they feel like the job and employment situation is actually correlated with the interest rate, or they can also be or they can be situations that impacted the work situation. For people who work at home, I feel like there might be I'm not 100% sure, but there might be some home office arrangement thing that might be linked to the interest rates situation. But in general, I think the job market and the interest rate situation is not positive for the US homeowners in August, and they will feel sad about it. Okay, so for the financial impact of keeping the property in August is the moon card. Moon card is about the subconscious and can be uncertainties and insecurities. The bottom is King of Swords. So people will try to be very logical about the situation, but there's definitely the unknown factor. It's not very clear. Like, people don't feel clear about how much money they will get from keeping the property, but they just try to be logical about it. Okay, because we keep it because logically we should keep it, that sort of thing. But is it making money? Will it make money? They don't know. For financial impact of selling in August, Seven of Wands means defending what is necessary to defend. Ace of Wands at the bottom means new beginnings and the removal of obstacles. So I would say people tend to see about the bright side of selling the property because Ace of Wands is quite a positive card. If people are selling in August, they would like to get rid of the problems and create new financial prospects. Like, I think the people who are selling them, they just don't want to deal with the problems in August 2024. And they have they have the passion to get it done. So probably if you're feeling very logical and in August, then you're more likely to keep it. But if you have passions that you want to pursue in August, then you can fall into the group that wants to sell because you have the passions to pursue something that is important to you. And keeping the property might actually prevent you from pursuing your passion. August 2024, angels, please let us know how can you as homeowners be prosperous and stable in August 2024. Watch over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. So, there is definitely sort of like a faith-related situation where people need to allow themselves to feel safe, because there are definitely things that are not safe that people feel fear about, and they have to be be having the faith and wisdom to actually get through it. And the bottom is trust. I know that God in His infinite wisdom and love is answering my prayers right now. So these two cards are actually telling people to put out positive intentions and be, sort of a little bit like surrender, but surrender to the universe about, real estate matters. And the key is to trust that there is positive results that will be available. But you have to trust that your profits is actually being protected by the universe. I know it sounds really spiritual, but these two cards are telling us that we need to be trusting the universe, that things will work out fine, because there are definitely factors that are actually hindering the housing market and people not feeling good about it. But for people who are spiritual, then you will know how to put out positive intentions towards the universe, and then let the universe guide you to make the decisions. September 2024, how you as homeowners feel about the interest rate situation. September 2024, how you as homeowners see the financial impact of keeping the property. September 2024, how you as homeowners see the financial impact of selling the property. In September 2024, U.S. homeowners, they feel happy about the interest rate situation. Ten of Cups is about home and family, is about abundance and fulfillment in all levels of life. King of Swords means someone who is being very logical, who makes logical decisions. Because of the Cups and the Swords, so I would say the interest rate situation people will feel logical and feel fulfilled by the situation of the interest rate in September 2024. Then, when we talk about the financial impact of keeping a property, Seven of Swords means being strategic and also sacrifice the things that are no longer necessary and only just keeping the most important parts. Wheel of Fortune at the bottom means change, major change. I think people who decide to keep the properties in September 2024, they will try to lower their cost in order to keep the property sustainable. I believe that some people, they will go through a period of downscaling. Some sort of downscaling can be a major change, can be a big change, but they find a value to do so because they have to gain the balance. They have to make some sacrifice in regards to keeping the property. For selling the property, the financial impact of selling is Seven of Cups is not quite sure what to expect, and people are not very sure about what to expect in selling the properties. So Seven of Cups can mean the market of selling the property might be not very active, and so they don't have a lot of offers to compare, or they might actually have offers that kind of create confusion about the financial prospects about selling them. And Nine of Wands at the bottom means someone who is wounded and very guarded. So I think because the Wheel of Fortune is the major arcana, I think people are leaning towards keeping the property but downscaling it, downsizing the property in some ways to make it financially viable. For people who want to sell, they will be very guarded because they don't know what to expect about the pricing, and they really need to think about what will that lead to if they sell the property and they are not sure about it. That's why they're very guarded, even though they want to sell, but they don't have the full picture about how selling it would benefit them financially. Yeah, I think people are being conservative about selling properties in September 2024. Okay, so the angel cards, what will be the key for the US homeowners to be successful, to be stable in September 2024? Father. My true Father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship. Bottom card is patience. I trust in divine timing. So, Father energy. Because Father is the masculine energy, so it is usually representing making logical decisions and decisions that are linked to or being inspired by previous generations, like the father figures in our lives. The fathers might have some wisdom, or some older male figures. They might know more about us, about owning a home, any kind of matters related to real estate. They might have more information to share, and they can also be some of the they can also be the source for some of the answers that are needed to be answered in this time in regards to the housing market situation. The patients at the bottom trust in divine timing. So I believe that there is a need to do something, to make logical decisions based on the timing. So timing is everything. Beware of the timing. If you are someone who knows, and if you are aligned with the idea of the fact that timing can be everything, then this month I do believe that there are timings that are beneficial for making decisions that can benefit the situation. But the timing can change in any second throughout the month. So I do believe that there is a need to closely monitor the housing market so you can actually take action when the timing is right. But only to the people who are actually sensitive to timing and the idea of timing is everything. Okay, in October 2024, how U.S. homeowners, how they feel about the interest rates. October 2024, how U.S. homeowners, how they feel about the impact, the financial impact of keeping the property. October 2024, how U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of selling the property. In October 2024, Queen of Cups represents how the homeowners feel towards the interest rates, which is being emotional and it can also mean, even though they might not be totally happy about the situation, they kind of being understandable and being considerate about the situation. But there are definitely a lot of emotions involved. Seven of Pentacles at the bottom. This means being reflective, waiting for something to manifest. So I think there are not enough information about the interest rate at this moment because something is not totally settled even if even if they have the information about the interest rates, that will actually make them feel emotional, but not totally disruptive way, but they will think about how they came through before. So I think the interest rate situation will happen like what happened before. So I think there will be benefits to actually look back to history and how it happened before, because something happened before. Yeah. So for the financial impact of selling the property, impact of keeping the property, lovers, it means passion, it means cooperation. Six of Cups, it means assistance and help and being generous. Six of Cups can also mean kids. So I think people who they can find the reasons to keep the property because they find a value that will be passing on to future generations. So I think in October 2024, October 2024, there might be some ways for homeowners to explore that will be pretty long term, that will actually benefit their future generations. Lovers, even though they mean cooperations, unions, but it's also about making a choice. It can be about, I think some people, they might think about if keeping the property, if they're keeping the property, how they can actually help some kind of situations. I think it's not totally, I don't feel like people totally think about very practical monetary matters in regards to the financial impact of keeping a property. I think it's more about the emotional side of things, or they would consider the value in emotional ways. So and I definitely think people in this time, October 2024, they will focus on how keeping the property will actually fund their passion. Can be the passion of helping future generations can be their passion of doing what they love to do. And when it is so hard days, I think in October, people are more emotional about the housing market, but not too analytical about it because of all the water energy in the cards. Okay, so for the financial impacts of selling the property is represented by the moon. Moon is about uncertainty, and the Ace of Cups means emotions. If they're gonna sell it in this time, they're not gonna be sure about what they can actually get from it, or they might know they think they know, but the decisions are more based on emotions. They feel like they want to sell it, then they're gonna sell it. But if you talk about the financial impact of selling, it's about fulfilling the the emotional needs. So I think in October there might be a world situation or a societal situation that in generally makes people more aligned with their emotional well-being, and homeowners will make decisions based on how they feel. If they feel it is alright, then they will go forward and make the decision. If they don't feel like alright, they're not gonna make the decision. I believe that in October there's something emotional that affects everyone, at least for the homeowners. And I think that is beyond practical matters. That is so closely related to security and the sense of happiness. So angels, please let us know in October 2024. What can bring success and stability for US homeowners? Giving and receiving. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. The bottom is tenderness. I am both gentle and powerful. So both cards are pointing towards there is an equality between elements, that there is a need to gain the balance. I think they're pointing towards, more leaning towards the side of keeping the properties, because the Lovers is about cooperation. It's also about balancing. And when they say generous, I think about Six of Cups. Being in the keeping position. So I think that homeowners who are keeping their properties, they might need to face choices that are somehow based on a certain level of generosity. Maybe towards family members, maybe towards tenants. So I can imagine that maybe for the tenants and landlord situation in October, there might be some situations that need to be aligned in a perfectly harmonious way. And there's a need to be balance, not overly giving or overly not giving. Both gentle and powerful. So yeah, I think in October 2024, the housing market is generally, I would say it is delicate because there's a need to balance. So people can't be too overly conservative, but not overly progressive also. Can be some sort of gestation period. And I do believe that there are people who are making deals because giving and receiving definitely can mean selling and buying. And tenderness, you see these two persons, they are talking about something related to this person who is sitting on the floor or kneeling on the floor. So two scenarios I can think about. It can be people who are homeless and needing the help from people who are more prestigious or they are rich. They have the ability to give. They can also mean either they can be homeowners and prospective buyers. They can be in this position of one side can be really less than the other side. So there is an inequality between them. Let's say if you are trying to sell, you get a prospective buyer, but their offer is way below. So you would become these two person and think about whether you should sell that to this person or not. And please remember that there's a need to balance being generous and receptive. So don't forget about your own needs while considering their misfortunate situation or maybe less than perfect situation. So no need to be overly generous, but at the same time there's a need to be balanced. Don't ask for something that is definitely over the ability of the other person, but don't underestimate your own needs also. On the other side, you can be the buyers who are actually chatting in this picture. about someone who is the seller, but they are desperately selling because of their situation. So that can go either way. And then there's definitely an imbalanced situation going on. And that requires balancing. So I think in generally, there's a need to be not, how can I say, try not to take advantage from people who are in a less than perfect situation, and vice versa, and don't let yourself being taken advantage of also. So in a short phrase, fair deal. October 2024, fair deal. November 2024, how the majority of the US homeowners feel towards the interest rate situation. How majority of the US homeowners feel about the November 2024 financial impact of keeping the property. How majority of the US homeowners in November 2024, how they feel about the impact of the financial impact of selling the property. In November 2024, US homeowners, they feel like the interest rate is causing some kind of sacrifice, delays, because the hangman is about delays and sacrifice. And it can also mean old patterns. The tower at the bottom means disruption, destruction, and can mean overhaul of some old structures. Knight of Wands below that, I think there are definitely instabilities in regards to the interest rates in November 2024. So be aware of that. Some people might need to make sacrifice in regards to that matter. The financial impact of keeping the property will be long-term. Three of Wands, it means long-term planning. Knight of Pentacles at the bottom means slowly building something. But this Knight of Pentacles it is the only knight in the deck that is standing but not moving. So the process is slow. So homeowners will perceive the financial impact of keeping the property in November 2024. It's all about long-term investments. Nothing surprising to gain. Everything needs time. So I think it can be in generally slow. Slow growth, but stable growth. It takes a lot of patience to gain the financial rewards if they decide to keep it in November 2024. For the financial impact of selling the property in November 2024, Four of Swords means gaining peace. Gaining peace. Four of Cups at this dissatisfactory situation, gaining peace about it. People will sell the property if they have been through periods of times that they feel not satisfied, and if they have struggles, conflicts, they will sell it in November, because they have choices. Four of Cups is about choices and not satisfied. If we talk about financial impact of selling, both cards are 4. So 4 is about home and family and safety, and support. So I do believe that even though they're not major arcanas, but people are leaning more towards selling, because they don't want to deal with the conflict. They want to be at peace, and they don't want to be not satisfied for it. So, and because of wanting to be satisfied, they decide to let go of the property in a peaceful manner. So they will sell the property with a price that they feel peaceful about. Peaceful doesn't mean very happy, but it certainly doesn't mean very not happy either. So I think if they're gonna sell, the price will be, reasonable. I would say reasonable. I wouldn't say too high or too low. So, angels, please let us know in November 2024 what can lead to the success of U.S. homeowners. To be stable and prosperous. Prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about the situation to bring about real solutions. Definitely, there are worries. And whenever people need to pray, that means things are out of their hands and can be world situation, or the market is kind of feel like out of the control, so they need to pray about it. Joy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. When joy is paired with prayer, what I can think about is because it says by enjoying this moment, I'm giving thanks to God for my life. It is about emotional fulfillment, but not too much about material. For my life. So life is way more than the house. Life is way more than money. And I believe that there are situations where people feel like there are things to be worth to be celebrated, even though they have worries about the housing market. but they have things to celebrate about with the others. Thanks to God for my life. So I think there might be situations where people are spiritually enlightened and they feel like, oh, we are alive. Or there are reasons that remind people that being alive is not guaranteed. And now, because we are alive, then we need to be, we are happy about being alive. And so we pray about our worries to bring about real solutions. In general, I think these two cards are just reminding U.S. homeowners in November 2024, be joyful for what you already have, and don't overly stress out about the worries that you have. But it is definitely helpful to be grateful about the joy that you actually feel, and pray for the removal of the worries that you have about the situation. Okay, in December 2024, how U.S. homeowners perceive the feelings, perceive towards the interest rates. December 2024, how U.S. homeowners perceive the financial impact of keeping the property. In December 2024, how U.S. homeowners perceive the financial impact of selling the property. In December 2024, U.S. homeowners, they feel towards the interest rate, their feelings are based on a big completion. Four of Wands, first of all, means home, family, housing matters. The World at the bottom means major completion. So I think there will be a major interest rate thing that is going to culminate in December 2024. And there will be a support, because the support is based on having enough information about the situation, about interest rates. So in regards to the financial impact of keeping the property, Eight of Pentacles mean repairs, work, perfecting the craftsmanship. Five of Swords meaning losing the battle, a win-lose scenario. So people who are working towards a financial goal that they want to achieve in keeping the property, they will feel like losing it, losing the battle. So something they have been working towards in order to create the financial abundance through keeping the properties might backfire and not working anymore. I think that because there is a major change, and that will impact the routines of how people using a housing market to gain profits. Something is being changed, and then there is a sense of defeat, and people are less likely to want to keep their property this month. Why? Because in the financial impact of selling, we have the tower. Tower means clearing the old stuff and letting go of the old structure, disruption, unexpected developments. And it is major arcana paired with the magician at the bottom. Can be a necessary destruction that leads to a new beginning of a resourceful future. So people who are selling it, they might be aiming towards destroying the old structure in order to be self-sufficient financially to create new stuff. So I would say the financial impact of selling is about disrupting the old patterns and to create a new one. Have a new beginning. But the new beginning is very new. By saying very new, it is about something innovative. It's not something that we know a lot. I believe that there is a new pattern or new order in regards to the housing market that is coming ahead in December 2024. So there are people who are innovative enough to try it out. They will sell their properties and try this new way to manifest prosperity by selling their properties. Magician can be an energy that is creating something out of nothing. So I believe that it is pretty new, and if people are not open-minded towards it, they would less likely to sell the properties to do something like that. And I think whenever there's a tower moment, there's a necessity for some homeowners to sell it because it's just unsustainable. They have no choice. You just have to do it. So that's a situation that people need to pay attention to. Whether you buy or whether you sell, if you're selling it, there must be a reason that it's not sustainable and maybe kind of unpredictable too. But then by selling it, there's a way to create new wealth. Even though you might feel uncertain about it, but actually there's a way to make it happen, because there are ways to provide all the tools that are needed for this new beginning. So for the angel cards, I would like to ask, what will be the major key for U.S. homeowners to be safe and prosperous in December 2024? Okay, quiet. I go into peaceful silence and I listen. And the bottom card is action. Today I take action related to the priorities that I have previously put off. So I think there's a need to be contemplate about the situation and be in peaceful silence and listen to your own thoughts and your own mind. But while listening to your own thoughts and mind, you also need to read through the book of the knowledge and information that you need. This person is reading with a kid, so I believe that there's a need for some people to focus on your kids and not just the outer world. The outer world is the outer world, but your kid is your kid. The world that contains you and your kid can be different from the outer world. This card is also telling us that there are lots of informations in the housing market or even on a world stage that looks like requiring us to all take action towards something in a very swiftly manner, quickly, without hesitation. I think there are groups of people who will quickly make the decision, just like the tower moment. Okay, we need to sell it, we're gonna sell it immediately, something like that. But the angels are telling us that even though there is a need to take actions towards something, we do need to analyze and do not forget to decipher the differences between public opinion, the media, and our own thoughts and our own needs. I believe that the situation is like people listen to the news and then a lot of them, they will just act on it. But in order to be stable, to be prosperous, after the emotional upheaval of listening to news and receiving the information from the media, you go within. You go within, looking to the facts and listening to your own thoughts and your own mind, your own unique situation. Your unique situation can be just unique from anybody else in this world, and it requires a unique arrangement somehow. Because these two cards, when they come together, that means there is a direction or tendency for the general public to go towards one direction. And many people would just take the action without being able to silencing themselves and be quiet. And that can be a problem. So the key is to acknowledge the fact that something happens quickly that prompts people to act on things. But before you make the decision, try to tune down the volume of the outer world and be in silence. Even though it is difficult to be in silence when things are so chaotic and when we are in upheaval. But in order to be successful, being in silence is necessary after you receive the news. Try to be in silence and be reflective about your situation. Don't be scared about the news, because the world runs under so much fear, and we are being programmed by fear. But at that particular moment, when you feel like you're so eager to make the decision as quick as possible, please definitely be in silence for at least a moment and think about the priorities and listen to what your mind is telling you about what creates peace in your life. What are your experiences about peace? What have been creating peace in your life previously, currently? What are those necessities? Are they really about having a roof? Are they about the car? Are they about the food? Or are they just about family? Everybody has different priorities. So when you know about that priority, then you can make the decision to either torn down the old structure and embrace the things that are just necessary for you to have peace, or to sustain the things that you have in order to gain the peace. So I'm almost done with this. So before I end this video, I have a feeling that I would like to do the final overall 2024 situation, regardless of which ones, but just general. And how U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of keeping the properties in this year. How U.S. homeowners feel about the financial impact of selling properties this year. For some reason this card is here. Anyway, I'll go forward. So, in 2024, in general, U.S. homeowners, they will see the interest rate situation is kind of fluctuating and things are balancing out. But the background of the situation is not stable. Judgment at the bottom means major announcement about interest rates. Can be a revival of some sort of policies they had before in order to tackle interest rate situation. The financial impact of keeping the property, Nine of Swords, means worries. Three of Pentacles, building. The worries of actually keeping properties, are they being viable for financial abundance in the future, actually affects the building and construction companies and the construction situations, because Three of Pentacles is about building something. some people, they might feel like, oh, because I worry about the future return and profits, about keeping the property, they might opt for building more things in the house to kind of solidify the gains in the future. But at the same time, the other group will feel like, oh no, we will build less houses because we don't know and we feel worried about the housing value. So why would we build so many houses? And because this financial impact of keeping property, this deck, somehow this card goes into the financial impact of selling. So I would directly point this as an indication of people who are trying to keep the property for profits previously, and now they are actually wanting to change their approach, so they will put in the work in order to sell them in the future. So in generally, I don't think people who currently or previously they want to use the housing market as a cash cow or for profit, I don't think they will continue. In fact, I do believe that there will be a major shift between different groups of homeowners. The purpose of gaining a home or real estate will be redefined somehow this year, and the groups will change. Like previously, they would focus on gaining wealth through keeping the property. Now this group will switch to selling the properties because they feel like they have a new pathway, new pathway of making money, which is more profitable than housing market. So I do believe that for people who sell the properties this year, the point is gaining the money to support the new way of prosperity and sort of like an independent way of creating wealth. There are many people, they are starting to aware that being a homeowner is way too risky than some other ways to make and generate more wealth. So what I can imagine is there are more limitations that are being placed on homeowners this year. The liabilities side of reality can actually kick in and lead people to let go of this idea of using real estate to make money. And because there are also new ways that are being generated to create more wealth, that is very innovative and new to the public. And because of this situation, I would like to know what is the magician about? What kind of new thing that will lead to wealth that might possibly replace, well, not replace, but dissipate the reliance on housing market to create abundance in the future? What is causing the shift? What is this new thing? What is the area of the magician is pointing towards? Cancerian energy. So Cancerian energy is to protect, to nurture. I think it can be something about the past. Something from the past can actually be related to the new way of making money that can be significant enough to sort of, how can I say, to dissipate the reliance on the current housing market to make money from it. So, and Cancer rules fourth house. I believe that there might be new housing situation that is profitable and that is more cooperative and in an harmonious way. And that can actually lead to a more healthier system in gaining wealth and sustainability in the coming future. There might be some new components that are totally not sort of not aligning with the current situation. Whenever people feel like the housing market is out of balance, I believe that there will be new components that will correct that imbalance and bring the harmony towards the housing situation. And that might be related to the ownership of the housing. I don't know. I thought about big corporations. I think the housing rights can be, definitely overcome changes. The money flow in the housing market can change in a significant way so that there will be more balance in regards to this market. But it will be innovative, it will be kind of magical. I was expecting something unrelated to housing, but in fact I believe housing is still a key for creating wealth, but it will be a different format that is more balanced and more harmonious. So if you are wise enough and you are knowledgeable enough when you look at the housing market now, wherever there is the imbalance, and I believe that the imbalance will be corrected at the end of this year. So because of the imbalance being corrected, there will be a lot of people who are not satisfied with the rebalancing act. of the situation and they feel like it's not profitable anymore, then they're gonna let go and put their money to somewhere else. And as a return, some people who are not able to gain housing or be homeowners, they will be benefited by this situation of some people pulling out from the market. And hopefully this can create a more sustainable and healthier financial structure and actually a societal structure for the housing market in the coming future. So I think this is what I want to share today. And thank you for your patience. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. I hope this can shine some light in your housing situation and your real estate situation. Please comment below whatever you want to know about. I will try to get to it. If I have the time to do it, I will try to get to it. But I'm sorry that I cannot provide an exact time frame when I'm gonna do it because I'm also quite occupied. So I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Take care. Bye bye.